The Eiffel Tower was sold one day. That's right. One of the most famous landmarks in the world was put up for sale, and someone actually bought it. But how did this happen, and who bought it? Well, that's what I'll tell you about in today's episode. It all started in 1925, when a renowned French painter and sculptor named Victor David wanted to make a replica of the Eiffel Tower out of metal scraps. He had an idea to make a smaller version of the tower out of all the scraps of metal he could find, like old tools, car parts, and even bed frames. He began his work in his garage, but quickly realized that he didn't have enough materials. So he started to buy pieces of the real Eiffel Tower. He would purchase rivets, bolts, and even pieces of the tower itself from workers who were demolishing it for scrap. Over time, he amassed enough materials, and on March 6, 1925, he unveiled his masterpiece, a 3/8 scale replica of the Eiffel Tower made entirely out of scrap metal. But here's where things get weird. You see, Victor David wasn't just an artist, he was also a con artist. And his replica of the Eiffel Tower was actually a fake. It wasn't made out of pieces of the actual Eiffel Tower like he claimed. Instead, it was made out of plaster, wire, and paint. He had tricked everyone, including art critics, collectors, and even the police. They all believed that he had actually purchased pieces of the Eiffel Tower, but in reality, he had just made a really good fake. Eventually, his secret was discovered, and he was arrested for fraud. But before that, he managed to sell his fake Eiffel Tower to a scrapyard owner for 5,000 francs. The scrapyard owner, like everyone else, had no idea that the statue was a fake. He thought he was buying a piece of history. So who bought the Eiffel Tower? Well, it turns out that the person who bought Victor David's fake Eiffel Tower was none other than the Marchioness of Stein, a wealthy socialite and art collector. She had seen the statue in the window of the scrapyard and immediately fell in love with it. She purchased it and displayed it in her garden, where it remained for many years. In 1967, the real Eiffel Tower was being restored, and many people were concerned that the fake one in the garden of the Marchioness of Stein would be destroyed. They reached out to her, but she refused to part with it. Eventually, the statue was saved and is now on display at the Musée d'Orsay. So there you have it. Story of how the Eiffel Tower was sold by a con artist. If you enjoyed this episode, please stay tuned for more historical tales. Thanks for watching.